What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Rap Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Powell, Jarrell Powell. For those of you who aren't sure what J means for Jay Powell, you can be sure to like and subscribe here on the channel, the Jay Powell Network. I definitely appreciate that. This is where the content for Jay Powell Music, Rap Chat Podcast, 440 Guitar Podcast, all found here. Hopefully more networks will grow as well. And then be sure to to follow the Instagram at the Rap Chat Podcast so you know when these are coming out. And then just anything else going on with our friends and folks involved with the Rap Chat Podcast. And today I'm very excited to speak with this artist, producer, the man of from the Labor Department himself, Rod Da Blizz. Talking about his album, Pray in One Hand, Piss in the Other. What's going on, Rod?
Just maintaining peace, brother. Peace.
All right.
What's good? What's good?
Not much, man. It's fucking cold out here in California, man. I'm
I'm in Florida, bro.
It's getting cold out here, man. I mean, it's California cold, so it's not like it's snowed in. It's
like 55.
Yeah, like this is the guy that wears sandals during summertime. So, but it's still cold, goddammit. But how are things out there for you?
Everything is everything.
Yeah,
can't complain. It's not even cold. So
nice.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I'm over all the snow and all that other shit, but
okay,
it's all right.
Nice.
The sun is always going to be out because hey, the new project is out, so the sun is always out.
Hey,
hey.
There you go. Yeah, man, I really liked your rollout before we get started. I really liked your rollout and and then the funny things you're saying on your Instagrams. It's like if you want the album, you can't get a money. You gotta go and. Reminded me of Dave Chappelle. Gotta get milk from a Cambodian immigrant.
right. Gotta get breast milk, Cambodian breast milk. You gotta go to the Bronx. You gotta go to the Bronx to get Cambodian breast milk.
Oh man. Crazy.
Yeah,
So,
gotta be silly like that sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, most definitely.
Yeah.
So before we deep dive into the album, which definitely I was looking forward to, since you dropped the single a while back, definitely was looking forward to this. I wanted to kind of go back and just to kind of talk about just a little bit of your background before we dive into the content of the record, because I feel like there's a lot of connections at play. It's not just like beats and rhymes, and there's definitely a signature sound to the album, which is really dope. Like not only like I've always known that once I found out you were a producer and listened to your stuff, I'm like, oh shit, this shit's fire, but the beats you chose for your own project, that's where I was like, okay, these are very much seem to be signature to him in some type of way. They seem like there's some type of personality. Obviously, I don't know you personally, but I'm like, there seems to be a very personality attachment to a lot of these records. Sequencing was really good too. So, but definitely want to dive into that. But first, tell me about as far as like, you growing up and like, where did you grow up?
I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
And for those who don't know about Long Island, New York, I mean, Long Island is not really part of the boroughs. It's really 2 New York counties east of the 5 boroughs. There's Nassau County and there's Suffolk County. I'm from Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. So, so briefly, like just the history of those who came from there. There's Public Enemy, there's EPMD, there's De La Soul. Of course, Keith Murray. Bumpy Knuckles, Granddaddy IU, Method Man's originally from there. He's from Hempstead. Brock Marciano, Biz, the list goes on. So, I grew up there, started producing, started getting into hip hop. I mean, not getting into hip hop, but like, I started getting into rapping, just as a a joke, if you will, in '88. And then I started taking it seriously in 1991 after my cousin told me he was, getting a meeting at Jive Records. And,
Mm.
just so happens that he knew somebody, who supposedly knew somebody who worked at Jive Records or something like that. But, anyway, spent spent a great deal of my adult life in Baltimore, um, which was a very interesting experience. Um, there you know, got up with quite a few talented individuals. One brother that I work with who was a friend of mine, his name was Ron Ramsey.
Mm.
Um, Ron B. Cardi, that's what his name was. Well, at least his rap name. So I worked with him. He introduced me to this brother named Frank Diggs, who's the other part of the label department.
Okay.
He's the other half. And the rest is, what it is right now.
Yeah. 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 As far as like the like how as far as like you growing up from or going from growing up in Long Island, like describe like what was like what was it like around there? Was it just kind of like, you kind of had to be on your toes and,
Mm.
like what type of life was it as far as just like, growing up and whatnot?
Um,
I know
it,
Baltimore. I hear stuff from Skills like crazy shit happens all
oh,
the
yo, look, it's a totally,
time.
totally different animal.
Mm,
Now, Long Island is like, it's, it's, it's a place where there's a mixture of classes.
mm,
Um, and it's easily, somewhat segregated. You know what I mean?
mm,
Um, like you'll have your eyesore shacks, in a relative, Long Island, in comparison to the boroughs, is really just like, um, I don't know. I guess like everybody looks at it like Mayberry. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
mm,
thinks everybody, is living like they do in the Hamptons. Like they just
right.
think the whole shit is the Hamptons. Nah,
Mm,
there are hoods, and then there's relatively nice places, and then
yeah.
there's like, hard working there. For the most part, it's just a bunch of hard working areas that, just get it how they live.
Yeah.
My life in particular, there, like it was, um, kind of like a mixture of both quiet and, you know, somewhat interested in certain areas too. It was like
Yeah.
I've been in areas where I'm like the last cocoa, like really I grew up in an area where I was like one of the last cocoa puffs in a bowl full of milk and shit. And then, but of course, the rest of my family was in, of course was in the hood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh so it was really just a mixture of like seeing both of those worlds being interested, being influenced by music. I had a musical family. My
Mm,
grandmother, pardon me, my grandmother and my grandfather um, had this jazz band,
mm.
and my uncle, my paternal uncle, you know what I'm saying? He sung for Cameo back in the day.
Oh wow.
This is before Larry Blackmon's Red Jockstrap, whatever you call that shit. So this is when like Cameo had like 11 members, 11, 12 members. You know what I mean? Like they were pretty deep, but like as a
Yeah.
funk band, they ran like they ran the damn country damn near. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, funk bands like when it comes to like camp, like there's like Cameo, Lakeside, and like Slave and all of this shit. Like shit was like sounded real good. But anyway,
Yeah.
my uncle was singing for Cameo, and I'm seeing him on Soul Train and you know these like televised concerts and shit. I'm like, yo, this is dope. I'm seeing plaques physically.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so there's I mean, it was interesting. I mean, that's pretty was my life. Um, when it came to is yeah, I don't know, yeah, it was my life. You know what I'm saying? Just go to school, rap. Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
go to school, rap, and deal with shit. Try to get as much information about shit and as much experience as possible. Although a lot of it was like somewhat sheltered, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of who I am today.
For sure. Did you have any moments where you had to like battle anybody or whatnot? As far as it's like some people like try to talk shit and then you end up fucking battling or anything like that happen?
Mm. You know what? That didn't happen until I don't think that happened until later in life.
Mm.
I will say this though, like there were a bunch of ciphers like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning, I had this group. Like in high school, I had this group. Um, and three of my dudes, actually, my cousin and like two of my other dudes. Um, like they were always the ones who were getting like the props like that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh,
Yeah.
like the reactions that they get after they spit their little shit. They're like, oh shit, you killed it. You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
man, my man Duke. Shout out to Duke. Shout out to Duke. Shout out to Mick Staggs. My cousin Mick Staggs. Shout out to my man Mo Better. Shout out to my man Caesar. But anyway, like in the beginning, there were like four members of the group. Saying, yeah, I'll just get finished this shit. So there was like, so those other members of the group, of course, were always getting the craziest
Crazy
reactions
bars
to
or
their
whatnot.
verse,
Oh shit.
right? Yeah, and I'm like, and they were sick bars. You know what I'm saying? Like all of them were like nice. I still say to this point, like say to this day, like they're all like nicer to me.
Mm.
But so they get the whole, oh shit, you killed this, you killed it, and I get the okay, all right, that's what's up. Like one of those, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that reminds me of me growing up.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, that's okay, that's kind of foul. All right, well, I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck I gotta do, but I'm gonna figure it out. Um, yeah, but yeah, as far as but yeah, so I guess to answer your question, like, yeah, that didn't happen till later in life, but in the beginning, it was really just all about who would like kill it in the cipher. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I eventually, you know, gotten the whole, light bulb in my head moment, and when I just locked, I just like just hold myself in my room and listen to like dudes like Will Finesse, Coogee Rap, and
Mm.
like Kane, and like, oh, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, punchlines. Okay, that's one thing that they, well, the other members of the group. I mean, they had a bunch of swag that just like carried them through. But
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, this is what I got to do. I got to do punchlines. So now I just thought of like the craziest punchlines I could think of at that point, and then
Yeah.
obviously the shit worked. And now those same people who were like, yo, that was all right, that's what's up, or now like, oh, say that shit when you said, uh, you know, I stick my foot up your ass until your Nikes turn brown. Like, when you said that, yeah. What was that, Ron? Say it again. So yeah, but yeah, the battling didn't come until like later on life. But yeah, this is like an impromptu battle. It
Mm.
was like the first time that ever happened. I think the only time that really ever happened was I was in DC at Capital City Records, a spot called Capital City Records,
Mm.
and my boy YU was doing his little set there, whatever.
Yeah.
And before we before he did the set, like it was me, YU, and my man IQ Damone, um and Moon. These all like all DMV cats. You know what I'm saying? DC, Maryland, Virginia cats. Like I did a freestyle with them on the Return of the Crooklyn Dodgers beat,
Mm.
and that's why I actually came up to the show. But anyway, before the show started, there was a cipher going on, and it was this dude who, this taller guy looked like I don't know, Tommy Chong, not even Tommy Chong, no, Marcus Chong, like
Mm.
um, Panther and shit. You know what I mean? Don't want to play who he knew.
Yeah.
So like, but he was like, tall and little drunk. So he grabbed the mic or whatever, stepped to the middle of the floor, just looked down, spit some shit off the head. He was just drunk or whatever, and then he just looked up at me, and he wasn't really nice. He just kept. I think he was just fucked up. He was just
Yeah.
like, "You don't want no beef, nigga." That's all I heard. You don't want no beef. You know what I mean? That was it. So, the mic got around to me. And mind you, like when I came to the show, I didn't come by myself. We actually came pretty deep. So my man Damon was like 6'4", who was may he rest in peace. But he was like 6'4", you know what I'm saying, a good 3, damn near. He's standing behind dude. He's like, yo, spit, say what you gotta say.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really go, bananas on him, but I was just like, get a load of this hater. You don't want no beef. Sound like a vegetarian waiter. Stupid shit like that. And I was like, this nigga don't know me, but this nigga just dissed me. When I see his CD, I'm throwing this shit like a frisbee, and everybody's like, oh. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was great. All right, that was cool. So yeah, that was that battling experience. I'm sorry that shit was long winded, but that shit was.
It's all good, man. It's podcast. That's what it's all about.
Nah, that shit was fun. That shit was fucking dope. Yeah. I think that was the only time that happened. I don't think. Yeah, nobody really ever tried to battle. Nobody does that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun.
When did you have your name Rod Da Blizz? Has it been that for quite some time now, or?
It's been like that since I want to say 1996-ish, 7-ish.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I have corny ass names in the beginning. Like
that's everybody, man.
yeah. Like it's crazy because it's like my sister would have like a nickname every once in a while, like, hey, what's going on, Rocco? I'm like, Rocco, I don't think whatever. I at the beginning, I ran with the Rocco thing, and you know how everybody had like D, and behind everything, like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, Diamond D,
Heavy D,
Heavy D. Everybody had a D. I was like Rocco D and shit. I'm like, yo. After a while, I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I changed that shit. I'm like, for one, that shit sound like some Italian shit for real. And and I'm like, oh, I'm out on Long Island, so there's there's a bunch of wild Italians and shit out there. So like, I don't want no fucking problems with a rap name,
right?
You know what I'm saying? That probably some other I don't know, some Italians who probably just started rapping. You probably got that name. So I'm like, all right, I just went with like,
so you got it, bro.
Then it was like, then it was like Roddy Rod for a quick bit, and I'm like, yo, how many other? And then I find out there was other dudes named Roddy Rod, and I was like, oh, all right, whatever. So they were like, no. So the dudes in my group, they're like, yo, I'm gonna be Duke the Regulator. Mike, you're gonna be Whiplash, a lyrical lunatic. Rod, I'm like, fuck it, Rod the Blizzard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fast forward to college. Fast forward to college. My man, what I'm saying, somebody who's a brother to me. His name is John Bourne. Known him since '88. But he had his abbreviations for like for dudes' names, kind of like how Wu made nicknames for themselves, like Riley Fingers and Tony Starks and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Right. So my man just like, yo, Rod Da Blizz. He just cut the ARD off. It's like Rod Da Blizz, and ever since then it just stuck.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool. That's a neat story.
Yeah, what's in the name? But hey, I'm glad I didn't stick with that Rocco shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would have been a bad look. I can't now.
Yeah, I don't know how long the career would have been.
Nah, it would have been shorter than like.
Oh, I remember growing up. Like, I remember
It'd have been shorter than Gary Coleman.
Oh man. Because I remember when I was like remotely interested in freestyle, he's like, oh, it's Jay Bowen. I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah, man.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, I can't even take that. I was like, I don't know. Man. I don't know my name is, JP. I don't know, So yeah. It's funny.
Nah, funny shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because it's funny. My friend was like, "Oh, J Powell," but that was like when I had my first like probably one of the more professional albums that was mixed for my friends. Oh, well, J Powell, you know, and I was like, "Hey, I got his sticks," you know, and then this was like maybe 4 years ago or something, so it wasn't that long ago, you know. But that's when I
Right.
started, you know. That's when I was like, okay, like I can rap, but it's funny when you can, at least for me, speaking for me, like rapping, but then like you're waiting for the moment where you can like produce that, because I guess I was born around a lot of white people growing up, so it was like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, all white people think everybody can rap. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so good, you know, I'm just like,
Right.
there's a count, you know.
Right. Right.
And then
Right.
I met Skills and all them, and you know, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're pretty good, bro. I was like, oh, thank God, it's people I can trust. I was like, I can't trust these people. Like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
no,
skills.
bro, you know.
Yeah, skills frightens me. I don't want to end up on his mid rappers list and shit.
He's
His
cute.
list of mid rappers.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to end up on his list of mid rappers.
Yeah, we've been stuck on quality for a bit with all this bullshit.
Yeah, man. Wow. This nah, yo, nah, but
Yeah.
that brother's a beast. Shout out the whole DBL though. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
facts.
Chakra.
Facts. Yeah.
Chakra, you know what I'm saying? Michaelpedia,
Yeah.
Trey Bless, like the whole clique. Shout out the whole clique.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? For even rocking with a brother, you know what I mean? But yeah,
Facts.
it's just wild shit. Like, but yeah, the white, yeah, like you came up with a lot of like, around a bunch of white people,
Yeah.
uh, like I did too. Like, like it's funny because I remember. I mean, the first rapper I ever heard was like Curtis Blow. It was Christmas rap.
Hmm.
But the first song that I ever memorized word by word was the message. All
Hmm.
right,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
then you know, Run DMC comes out, and mind you, like I mean, Run DMC is not only not the only rap group that
Yeah.
came out. You know, not the only rappers, of course. This is like still like almost 10 years after the fact. So,
Yeah.
um, King of Rock comes out, and I'm just walking like by myself, like around the like just around the street or whatever. Like I'm just walking around the block, and I'm like, I'm the king of rock. There is no because I'm like, yo, this is my shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm singing this, like, I'm rapping this to myself. And then this kid stops me. He's like, no, do it again. Like,
What is with black people want people
like
to
what the
repeat
fuck
some
you
shit?
talking? Right.
Yo, maintain that shit what you said.
Yo, yeah. Do that again. What is it? What do you call it?
It's like, I'm just saying some bars, man.
Yeah, like what the fuck? I mean, this is rap. You never heard it before? No. It's funny now I think about that moment. Like I just
Mm,
yeah.
mm.
It's shit is so foreign to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's the funniest shit ever though.
And then I definitely got to compliment you on your producing skills, man, because yeah, just
Thank you.
like, yeah, really, really dope, legit, and then just like authentic too, because I just feel like I hear the same shit from
Mm,
so many people, you know, like I'll see these I follow this podcast called Producer Grind. You know, they talk about all these
yeah.
producers, you know, and be like, oh yeah, this guy can make like 7 beats or 10 beats, you know, on Twitch, like in like a matter of minutes. It's crazy. I'm like, yeah, but it's all the same shit.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all trap shit. Like it's like, yo, like
Yeah.
there's more to this culture than that. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like refreshing and you know, hearing, you know, some of the stuff that you're cooking up. And I know
I
you were,
appreciate it.
yeah, definitely. And then as far as like and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard you say as far as like a lot of your beats, or if not all of them, that a lot of the sounds and stuff when you produce, like you make those, like you like you know, as far as where you're sampling, you're kind of sampling yourself. Like a lot of the stuff you take and create. Is that true or?
Yeah, that's true.
Mm,
That's true. It wasn't the case for every song on the project, but
mm,
yeah, I do that. I just think that it's a great thing to do because it's challenging.
Mhm.
You know, it produces like it provides a challenge to uh you know well really producers period, but especially me. Like I'm always like I'm all about uh just turning something just making something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's what hip hop was based on anyway. But
Right.
and then even back then, like there were original musicians playing their original compositions that people would spit on. So I figure, hey, I mean, it's not a new concept. Like people are, they have their own sample packs too, um, and they're selling them. You know what I'm saying? Making bank.
Yeah.
I never focused on that part of it. I just wanted to just use that ability to try to enhance um you know my music
Right.
personally. You know what I'm saying? Like there's because a lot of people use the same samples too. You know what I mean?
True. True.
There's a lot of people who use the same samples.
They
They can
just
freak them,
flip it
flip
up, use the
them.
same shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if it sounds dope, it sounds dope. But but a lot of people, touch the same shit. So I
Yeah.
figure, hey, why not you know, yeah, why not try it myself? But I don't I'm not I'm not one where I don't know. I'm neither here nor there when it comes to
Yeah.
original compositions versus sampling because
For sure.
all of it is fun to me.
Yeah. I just feel like you save yourself a lot of legal trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because like
Oh yeah,
so many really dope beats, but then you're like, hey, I haven't made any money from this. you know,
yeah,
you know, like
right. Like my publishing checks, my little publishing checks that I get, okay, they're kind of dwindling. I mean, it was enough to dwindle anyway, but now they're like further dwindling because of the sample. But yeah, from a business standpoint, it's a smart thing to do.
yeah.
And even from a creative standpoint, it's a smart thing to do. I mean, if all you know how to do is sample,
Mm.
and it's not to say that anybody who samples is lazy, because I sample. I love flipping shit all day. But um, there's there's so much this to be said about being able to really thoroughly express your level of imagination
Yeah.
over an audio canvas.
Mm. Definitely. Definitely. And I would say this is definitely a good transition to go into the album. So, um, I love the I love the title of this album because it's so like oh it's so like oh shit like what the
Yeah.
fuck is on here well how did when did you figure out that was the title did you think of that before or after you made all the tracks or was it somewhere in between because I think that's a pretty great title to
hmm
have people like raise eyebrows you know what I'm saying before
Yeah.
going to tracks.
Yeah. Now it was like slightly in between.
Mm,
Um, Slightly, yeah, I think it was like in the almost towards the end of the early part of the recording process. Um, I think around that time, there were projects that came out like um, West Side came out with Pray for Paris and
yeah.
My Commies like Pray for Paris. House Kingpin comes out with like Pray for Brazil or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, something like that. And there's like a bunch of projects with this pray for this, pray for that, pray for that. And just for me being, I don't know, I just me being an asshole. Uh, and I'm not dissing these projects and all that, but I'm like, hey, you
Yeah.
know what? I got to be different. To the point where people might think I'm an asshole. So I'm like, everybody's praying for this. So, and I'm thinking of, no, as a matter of fact, a movie came to my head, and there was Grumpy Old Men.
Mm,
So Burgess Meredith's character, of course, the father, he was like you could wash in one hand, and crap in others, see which one fills out. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's an old school term. Like, yeah,
mm.
you could pray in one hand, piss the shit in the other. So I substituted the shit with piss.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, Yeah, okay, you might have to say a prayer for him. Hey, shit, you could pray. You can pray one hand, shit in the other. See which one comes out first. You know what I mean? So I was like, hey, you know what? Great title for it album. You know,
Yeah.
hey, you can pray one hand, piss another. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, since everybody wants to pray for this, pray for that.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I think it's clever. I think that's really clever. And then it's funny how you have the credits where it's just like, executive produced by me. This fucking cares. Labor Department. It's
Yeah,
like it's all me. It's
yeah.
all me,
Yeah, right. Basically, you're in the fine print.
nigga.
It's like man, like marketing, whoever wants to spread the word.
Yeah, yeah, and
Management, no fucking body.
yeah, so all the credits you see my name.
Right.
No, but yeah, man. I mean, you're spitting on here. You were spitting on here. Like I
Mm,
I knew from just a few like some DBL tracks where you'd feature, hearing your verses on there. But I think this is really like, I mean, is this have you had other projects like this? Because I'm probably new to the party where this is the first one
mm,
that I've heard you just
yeah.
beginning to end. Is this the first one, or have you had projects like this throughout the years?
Yeah, I've had other projects.
Yeah.
There's other projects out right now. Well, most of them. Well, there are ones that are Bandcamp only that
Mm,
I just might bring to uh the rest of the digital streaming platforms. But
okay.
um, there's other projects that I have. Um there's the Wild and Error,
Mm,
which is an EP. There's the Wild and Error 2. They're both on Bandcamp.
okay.
Um, and I might just like revamp one and then put it out on digital streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And then just like put two out on digital streaming platforms. There'll be a third soon, but we'll get
Yeah.
into that later.
Right.
But anyway, so there's Wild and Error 1, of course, Wild and Error 2. Um, I released a project in 2019, um, November 2019, called "The System Favors a Scumbag."
Mm.
Um, uh, in April of 2021, I put out "For Good Measure,"
Mm.
and this is the follow up to "Good Measure." Pray for good. Yeah, this is the first project since then. I
Nice.
wanted to be more prolific this year, but I think that patience was on my side this time around.
Mm. For sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, you had some. I mean, you definitely had a lot of really like interesting points throughout these songs, throughout the album, especially when you get to the back half of it. But talking about the front half, you had some really dope in your face bars, like when you're saying hard to breathe, like Chris Christie on a stairmaster. I was like, oh shit, Rod's going in, And then one of my favorite ones is the team like Kevin Samuels, you bitches are average at best. I'm like, oh shit. I said, yo, Rod's going in, man. God damn, So,
uh,
but yeah, I mean,
Appreciate it.
yeah, of course. Did you have kind of a theme for the album as far as like were you? I know you said you kind of wanted to be more. I don't know if you said you wanted to be more prolific or whatnot, but just in general, as far as for the album as is, did you have like a concept in mind when you're putting all the stuff together?
Nah, I didn't actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that I wanted to. I know what I wanted the title track
Yeah.
to be. I can't really say. Well, then again, I can't really say that. I know. I knew that I wanted a title track, and I knew I wanted that title track to say something.
Mm-hmm.
But there was really no real concept
Yeah.
behind the title. Like the album is not necessarily you know sticking to one theme, what have you. It's
Yeah.
just um saying some things that you more than likely won't even hear from other MCs,
Right.
other artists,
Right.
because they're afraid to say them. You know what I mean? So um,
Yeah.
just about talking about you know subjects that not everybody is like willing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and really, there's no real concept. I mean, if you sit back and listen, or I don't know, it depends on what kind of listener
Sure.
that person is. If that person is able to sit back and listen to the album front to back, probably like a few times, and it is able to create this, cohesive thought in his or own mind
Yeah.
about what the concept really is. All right, great, cool, but that wasn't really my aim,
Mm.
going into it. I just know I needed to, I just know I wanted to tackle certain subjects. I wanted to say certain things that people are more than likely afraid to say at all,
Yeah.
because they don't want to get canceled. Not that we're talking about Jewish people or anything like that,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, it's just that, you know what I'm saying. There's just so much partying, whatever. There's so much, drugs, you know what I'm saying, ass eating, all kinds of shit. Um,
Yeah.
and like, okay, okay, what do you do? What do y'all motherfuckers do the rest of the day? Like y'all need something to think about, because like I don't know, I think about a lot of shit, so it's just my thoughts, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much that.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's interesting because I think organically you had kind of this this theme, or just as far as like your personality really leaking into these tracks. So like from the first few songs, there's kind of this theme as far as just really just like addressing like these younger cats that think that they have it all or whatnot, and then
Mhm.
being offended when someone says no you don't. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
I remember the line you said if I catch a bleed it's another version for WAP. I was like, oh my god. I was like,
Yeah, if they're scared to be leaking,
yeah,
that's another version of WAP.
yeah, I was like, damn, bro, this is crazy. I said these lines are wild, bro, but no, but I like it. I liked as far as like that upfrontness. I think my favorite song on the album is "Some of Your Fears." That one was
Mm.
hard. I really fuck with that beat, and I was like, oh man,
Oh
this is
man.
this is fucking dope. Like I really love that one. I really love
Yeah,
that
thanks. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was
one.
yeah. People have been hounding me for that beat. I was like, nah, fuck
Yeah, I'm glad he kept it. I'm glad you kept it for yourself,
that.
because I was like, no, because I think when you were announcing the Clear track as far as like, hey, coming out soon, but I think you have had Some of Your Fears for the music introducing it, and I was like, that beat's fucking fire. Where's that?
Yeah, yeah,
And that was stuck in my head. So once I heard it, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like
yeah.
I could definitely hear this on like plugs I met or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like definitely like that type of shit. Most definitely.
Yeah, that'd have been ill if Benny was on it.
Shit, get
That'd
the
have been
whole
ill.
gang on there. I can see 38 Spec just fucking tearing people apart.
Oh yeah, 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 right. Talking his slick shit.
you know,
Like,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, and then one of the songs too that I thought turned out really nice was the Karma Na Na with
Yeah, yeah.
with
Tennille.
did to Neil. Tell me a little bit as far as like the
Yeah.
creation of that song, because I think just cohesively it just really it's great track.
Um, Shout out to Tennille. She's amazing. I mean, we've been working together for, I want to say, about 11, 12 years at this point.
Oh
But
wow.
anyway, um, but yeah, like it started off with like, I think, well, not, I mean, I don't think nothing, but uh her vocals, it was actually part of a song that she was doing, that she wanted to have remixed.
Mm.
Um and and she had like gone over the vocals, here and there.
Mm.
Um and as listening to the lyrics, I'm thinking like certain, flashbacks of certain parts of my life actually appeared, and I just started writing like just these two verses, and I'm like, okay, great. If this could be the hook here, and Oh well, of course, this is the hook. I mean, this, you know what I'm saying? Like this is her
Yeah.
hook for her shit.
Yeah.
So great, this can go here. And part of the verse is like, she could just like take it home with this shit. All right, great. So I just put it together real quick, send it to her. And it came out like this. I mean, this is the first
Wow.
time that I've actually rhymed on anything that she's been on.
Mm.
This is the first actual collaboration that we've done. Like, I mean, other than that, it's just been me producing like a lot of her stuff,
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
still gonna continue to do that because she's amazingly talented. But um,
Nice.
but that's definitely one of my favorite tracks. There was a little jab that there was a little I can't really I can't really say it's a little jab at an ex. But I remember Tislam, God sends beats. Shout out to Tislam, peace of the God. He uh he called me because he heard the album, like he heard the song,
Mm.
and he was like, "Yo, did I hear that? Did I hear a line about Shorty?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I know because he's known me for years. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like well over like over 25 years at this point.
Oh,
So
wow.
um so like he was like, "Yo, did I hear you say that say a line about Shorty?" Yeah.
He's like, goddamn right.
Yeah. Like, oh, you ain't shit, you petty.
People don't forget.
Fuck it. Yeah, people don't forget. I mean, you good, I mean, hey, every all has been forgiven, but
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
I just stick to the song. I wasn't necessarily thinking about you when
Yeah.
I did the shit per se.
Right. It's like just take
Just the subject.
it's like take this bar though.
Take this bar. Yeah, take this bar though.
Take-
I'm not gonna spill your feelings. You know? Go pray in one hand.
That's dope. No, yeah.
Nah, but yeah, that I love that song though. Shout out to Chanel. I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate the feedback on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like you guys have really good chemistry, and she has a great voice too. I mean, her voice reminds me of there's an artist her named Sela Sue. She's a South African, I want to say,
I think I
vocalist.
heard of her.
Yeah, I was like, oh snap, okay, and then yeah, just everything she was doing, I was just like, wow, this fits like a glove. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even when she was doing a few verses and stuff, like after like singing the hook, I was like, okay. I said, okay,
Hmm.
these people had to work together because working with artists, you're working with singers. It's you're really trying to tap into their ability and stuff like that, and try to
Hmm.
make things most comfortable. And she was just like, yeah, it's like their thing, and so it just seemed really cohesive. I was like, oh, nice, nice. So
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
wanted to
Nah,
talk
I
about
love her
that.
voice.
Facts,
I love her
definitely
voice. It's awesome.
nice. Um, One of the songs that stick out to me, well, two of them, the one before the other, but Better Not, and then Today's the Day.
Yeah.
I feel like you tapped into, or at least what it reminded me of was Ari the Rugged Man. You're familiar with
That's my
Ari?
man. That's my man. Shout out to already Rugged Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Shout
Uh,
out to already man.
I
That's my dude.
oh nice. Yeah, I love Ari Rugged Man. He's one of my favorite
Nah,
artists.
he's
But
nah, he's one of the illest ever.
mm,
Real
yeah,
talk.
but definitely yeah, I mean, I think just talking like these, I think these two songs where I was just like, oh shit, like this is your narrative writing was really impressive. I think on this, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
thanks.
Like really, just like just when it comes to descriptions and whatnot, because I feel like there's a lot of rappers where they have dope bars, but when it comes to like telling a story, it's almost a completely different art. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
obviously, we know like those who can do that in an amazing level like a Nas or something like that, or even RA for that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought you executed these really well. Today's the day. I thought you did that really well when it was like a crazy controversial like
Hmm.
thing that happened, and I thought it was interesting, just kind of you just not pretty much just taking the notion of like how someone can be pushed so far where they go into a place where it's not even like a logical place, but it's almost just kind of like, you know, they just get it. They make some really bad decisions,
Yeah,
but you know, it's like it potentially could have been, you know, could have been stopped, you know. So
easily.
yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just like, yeah, I was just yeah, I just remember that. I just remember that hearing about that because I remember I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about that
Yeah,
you know, and because when I heard that clip, I said, "Oh shit, he had the clip in here too," you know, and yeah, it was just really like, ooh, it's kind of one that kind of
yeah,
shake you, like, oh shit, you know, and even the song before, you know, where it's like those stories, I feel like are hard for, like you said, people don't really talk about them,
hmm
and you know, it doesn't mean it oversits the conversations that we hear. Unfortunately, we hear a lot as far as like, you know, when those things do happen, but when people lie, you know, it's like you don't
right,
hear too much on the other side. So I thought it was interesting for you to just mention those stories, not where you're like, I'm taking a side. It's like, no, like I'm just saying that this
right,
happens. You're like, and this is fucked up.
right,
You know.
right,
So
right,
I thought
right.
it.
That was the point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought a lot of courage there. A lot of
Now,
courage there.
yeah, the thing about oh, the thing about those records in particular, um, I don't think anybody really ever tackles those subjects because I mean, even one after the other, you have Better Than Not, and then of course Today's the Day. Um, I think that really just the question is what would make a woman tick to the point where that she would want to ruin somebody's life, like a man's life, like completely, just have his life in complete disarray, you know, or just irreparably damaged or irreparably changed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I tell a Brian Banks story. You know what I mean? There's I forgot the other brother's name. I forgot the other brother's name in Syracuse, but yeah, him. When it came to the author,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, that's stuff. And these are things that everybody could look up.
Yeah.
Um, but and then you have Today's the Day, which is not taking, just like you said, I'm not taking sides or anything like that. Um, I'm really just explaining the cause and effect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just something that I just hope would provoke um the necessary painful conversations
Yeah.
um about why this wedge is driven in between man and woman in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like what
Yeah.
makes you know like why does it have to be so extreme that you feel the way how come your feelings about being wrong per se or something else,
Yeah.
like why are they extreme to the point where I now have to not see my children, or I have to spend you know a weekend or even months in jail. um like, did what I say warrant all of that? Like what is the issue here? You know what I'm saying? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like nobody really ever pays attention also to a man's mental health. Like we're supposed to, and I keep driving the point, even on a even on For Good Measure. I had a man, explaining that whole thing. Nobody really pays attention, you know, pays that much attention to a man's mental health. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to be these indestructible beings,
Mm-hmm.
24 24/7. But
Yeah.
you see how that can be easily flip when you try to take a man's children away from him, and say that he did this to the children, did that to the children. So yeah, it's just a subject that I felt the need to address because um yeah, it's like the system doesn't necessarily, it doesn't favor us as men, especially when it comes to that.
Yeah. And I think too, like, especially, you know, and I feel like you're speaking too as far as like the circumstances where it's not like he's like where the guy's like a raging abuser, where like, yeah, I'm gonna take the kids away because it's not safe for the kids. You're
Mm,
referring to you're referring to women or those people that weaponize that. You
right.
know, when the guy that's not really needed to do that, it's just something to weaponize. You know, so
Hmm.
yeah, so definitely yeah, that definitely interesting conversations to put into the album because it kind of reminds me too of
Mm.
Fargo season one,
Yeah.
where is his wife was just like yelling at him and yelling at him, and he just takes the hammer and just fucking hits
Yeah.
her, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit! I just killed my wife!"
Right.
Like I was like, "Oh my god," you know. But
Right.
this is the you know obviously it's like yeah you shouldn't have done that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just pushing
yeah.
to the point of like you know like, even if
Right.
it's the other way around, it's like no one should be provoking anyone. You know what I mean? Because it's
No.
just like especially after quarantine where you know like because there's a bunch of statistics as far as not only just shootings because obviously like unfortunately we all knew this was going to happen but even like car accidents have gone up like
Right.
even before quarantine like car accidents have exceeded so like people's brains are just fucked up people are fucked up like and like you said
Completely.
mental health like even in that regard has been forgotten it's like oh this covid thing's over live your life it's like no like like everyone's life
Right.
is different like no one's like the same anymore so
Right.
but yeah again I
Yeah.
thought it was really I thought it was really potent that you put those in there and then I thought it was good too the pray in one hand song because I
Hmm.
thought you know talking about like your daughter and stuff like that
Right.
you know making sure that she's you know that she's safe and things that and it's kind of showing that side you know I thought that was also a good touch you know
Right.
where it's like I'm not just this guy who's like man fuck these
Yeah.
bitches you know where I'm
Right.
just
As
it's
much
like
as I want
no
to say
yeah, you
it.
know, it's like, man, what you bitches, you know. But you're just like, no, like I'm just stating a point, but it's like I'm a father, and you know, I want my daughter
Right.
to be safe, etc. You know, so it was, you know, I thought it was really, really, really dope that you know, had that song as well. So,
Yeah, I
um,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's just yeah, that's another thing, it's just another, thing that drives to the point like um and this is not necessarily a debate uh with with religious, you know, with any kind of religious folks, I mean, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, I'm not going to tell you what to do at all. Like if what you're doing is giving your life direction, then, more power to you. But um, I mean, they say what, prayer without works is dead, right? So um, hey, pray in one hand, piss another. And this the whole thing is like people just, say like I'll like and whatever I pray for you is sort of a dismissive, you know, type of gesture. Like, okay, yeah, I'll pray for you. Just fuck up my face. But but it's like, this is what's going on. And this also like it also is to the point that was made on um today is the day,
mm,
you know, where like, okay, yeah, I'm telling you exactly what's happened, but it's like either you're throwing it in my face
mm,
or you just don't want to hear it. You just don't want to hear it. So why are you even asking me, to express myself? Um, but yeah, the first verse, yeah, definitely that was definitely necessary because yeah, who wants to think about their kid getting mowed down in the classroom? Um, only for these politicians to be like thoughts and prayers, my thoughts and prayers.
right, right,
You know,
yeah,
yeah, it's
completely
just
dismissive, yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like it's just yeah, just completely dismissive. So that's the whole thing. Is just like then that's the what pray in one hand, kiss in the other comes from is just that
yeah,
reaction to that dismissiveness.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
It,
so
it
and
oh, I'm
it's
sorry. Go
crazy.
ahead.
No, it's all right. Because it's like there's other examples too. Like a few years ago, I don't even know if you remember this, but there's a guy named Earl Hayes who killed his dancer girlfriend because he thought his dancer girlfriend was or fiance or whatever, wife was cheating with Chris Brown or something crazy. You know, Chris Brown or Trey Songz. Anyway, you know, he's a rapper too, and he used to be signed to Interscope through Dre and Timberland, and then he got with Floyd Mayweather, you know, the winning team or whatever. And he made the song called Suicide. You know what I mean? Where he actually raps about killing himself and taking his loved one with him, you know, taking his wife with him. Like he actually rapped about that. A few years later, the shit happened. Um, it's like nobody's either like, and that's really disturbing because nobody was really listening at all,
Yeah.
or those who were really listening were like, oh, this is so dark and bugged out. I'm just gonna bug like ain't nothing gonna happen. This shit is gonna be entertaining.
Yeah.
Nah, he really did that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, are you really like, will you really listen to these songs? Are you entertained by them, or do you feel compelled to make a difference in somebody's life if it's not the artist? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Definitely.
you know, I had to make joints like that. They were necessary.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's interesting too because for someone like myself who does pray and whatnot, it's
Mm.
when you hear politicians saying 1,000 prayers after a classroom of kids killed, where that's probably the first time they said pray all week. You know, and they
Right.
probably don't even do it. You know, and then as far as their actual jobs, nothing is being done because the NRA gives them too much money. You know, so it's just like
Oh yeah.
so yeah, like that. I think I had a line like that in "Song Cry" and "Sketches of Pain" where I did with Skills. So,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, like that's just crazy. And then it's even like, you know, where it's just like, where sometimes I won't say just black folks, but where people's like, "Oh man, I'll pray for you," and they don't even do it.
Right. They don't do shit.
They don't even pray. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
Right. They
like,
go right to the liquor store.
yeah, it's just because there's like a joke about that, like the black community
Right.
sometimes, where it's like people say like, oh yeah, we'll be praying for you, and like no
Yeah.
praying happens.
Yeah. They
You
don't do
know,
shit.
it's like I don't give a fuck about you. You know, like
Right.
it's like damn man, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
when it's
They could curse you out and tell you to have a blessed day.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah. Where it's
Come
just
on.
yeah, when it's a cute phrase, because like I believe prayer works, but it's like when it comes to the things that you can do, you know,
Right.
that maybe God's saying, okay, like as you're praying, you can do other see what else you can do as well. Like, and some people just
Mhm.
don't want to help out their fellow man or woman, you know. So it's just like,
Right.
god damn, you know, it's like, you know, I like that line you said as far as like, you know, communication's the best thing, but it just depends on who it's towards or something like that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Depends
definitely,
who was with.
yeah. Um, any other notable moments in making the album that you wanted to share as far as like one song where you're like, oh, like I really like loved how this
Mm.
came together, or you know, a beat that was like made on accident, but it turned out to be dope, something like that.
Yeah. It was Find Out. Find Out
Mm.
was a Find Out that it was a beat that I never thought would come out the way it came out. I just like randomly, and I don't even think I'll probably get away with this. I'm not even, you know, no sample snitching, folks. Whoever's watching this shit, but
That's right. That's right.
but I but I went on YouTube and I you know just searched like this random you know guitar player. You know what I'm saying? Or actually, it was a random you know, well, it was really a guitar that was made the Medusa guitar. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? The shit with a bunch of necks on it.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. So there was a there was a there was a guitar player. I forgot what the dude. Well, even if I didn't know what the dude's name was, I ain't gonna say it.
Yeah.
But but he had this same guitar, and he was with this orchestra, and it was just like this is like somewhere in Denmark or something like that.
Oh okay.
And I'm listening to everything, like you know even the guitar. And there's a you know of course there's an acoustic, but the way he's strumming it, I'm like this shit is just so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so you know you heard the doom doom doom, and mind you, this is all chopped up and flipped and shit.
Yeah.
And then you heard the dang, dang, dang. I'm like, yo, I'm like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a surprise. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I was gonna post, like, I just posted it. I'm like, yo, you know what? Don't even ask for this shit. And I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. And then I was like, yo, I gotta, yeah, I just gotta write to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I put some notable lines in there, like I grew up around Italians that with the same characteristics as Patty Duke,
Mm.
that I would gladly shoot given a valid reason. You um, for those who don't know who Patty Duke is, Patty Duke used to work for this radio station, Hot 97, up until it was discovered that Patty Duke was one of the accomplices in the Yusef Hawkins murder in
Oh.
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn,
Oh shit.
back in 89, 88, some shit like that.
Mm.
Um, and he got fired from the station. So, um,
Damn.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, just like, kind of exposing him, you know what I'm saying? Just, I mean, not necessarily exposing him, but just like kind of make sure people like who know, like,
Yeah.
don't forget.
Mm.
And then you have, I say, yeah, there's no love here. It doesn't exist. I'm sure Ashley Babbitt's gonna need the company, bitch. You know, you know,
Yeah.
somewhat shock value type lines. I don't know that beat brought that kind of shit out of me. So,
Yeah. That was my second
that
favorite
was an
song.
unexpected.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I was like, I was like, okay, Rod. I'm like, okay, Rod, this is crazy. This is dope. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, but that was yeah, that beat came out unexpectedly, very well, But for the most
Facts.
part, I mean, there's no that like, um no, no, there's not really like any like necessarily memorable moments, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I mean, ever since, this whole pandemic, I've been in the crib, recording and stuff like that. So it's not like, I've been in any other lab
Right.
um where, this, where I bounced you know, some energy, from somebody else, bounced off of me, and we created this banger, whatever. And that was just like I just
Yeah.
thought of these subjects. I had these beats. Um, I made, you know what I'm saying, some of these beats on the spot,
Yeah.
and hey, it just turned out the way it turned out to be. But but that was all inspired by like the heavy projects that I still listen to this day. Like, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, Death Certificate,
Yeah.
America's Most Wanted, The Chronic, and stuff like that. It's it's just those type of albums that are still relevant today.
Yeah.
Um, that they still have hard hitting material. That's what I was chasing with the creation of playing one hand, pissing the other. You know what I mean? I mean, there's your rapidy rap stuff, and then there's you know, then there's your real life situations.
Yeah.
But I just want I guess in the end, when it comes to my music period,
Yeah.
um, I want whoever listens to it, whoever's listening to it, just want them to get out of it that look, I'm you. I'm not a reformed criminal. I'm not a, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a super drug dealer. I'm not a super nigga. I don't have, the most, butt naked broads around me and shit. I'm not, a pimp. I'm a real person. I deal with real shit.
Yeah.
I tell you about this fucking job market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
getting fired. You know what I mean? And this is coming from a dude who actually made songs about going postal and shit. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hey, that's what I'm chasing when I'm making projects. Period. But that's what I was going after when I was making "Pray in One Hand, Piss in the Other." Just some shit that
Nice.
people will think about, uh, nestled in with
Yep.
flows and beats that
There you
stand out.
go. There you go. And then for those who those who I know you had a promo as far as for those who sent cash up $20 to you, that you got an extra project, or you got an additional project with some other songs
Yep.
on it. Just
Yep.
wish I finally came through and got to you.
You did, and I appreciate you, bro. I
Yeah, of
definitely
course,
appreciate you.
of course,
And
man.
for those paying attention to this too, you can go on Bandcamp as well and still get the same offer, because it's
Nice.
still a direct purchase for me. So you can go to the labor department.bandcamp.com. It's all spelled out THELABORDEPARTMENT.bandcamp.com.
Nice.
This should be the first project you see. Praying one hand, piss another. Um, almost each project on there. As a matter of fact, from Wild and Error 2, Wild and Error 2, of course, you get a bonus, project with that purchase. The System Favors a Scumbag. If you get, of course, the Bandcamp purchase, then you get bonus songs that are not available anywhere else.
Nice.
And, you won't get cracked for $20 for that, but good for good measure, that comes with another, that comes with another for a bonus project. So that offer stands with each of those projects.
Nice.
Those offers stands for as long as the projects are out. Because just for anybody who cops it, from me, there's got to be something that I provide that's of value, that no one else would have. It just shows how much I appreciate you as a supporter and as a listener. You know what I mean? So, thank you. Thank you, Jay, for even doing that, and thanks to all the people who cop the record for me. Those who are going to cop it from me.
Yeah.
Thanks in advance, and I'm gonna continue to do it like that, because nobody's thinking about the listeners, like that.
Definitely. And then I guess the last thing is, this is definitely a hell of a way to end the year with the project like this. What's in store for Rod Da Blizz that listeners can look forward to?
Well, there's going to be some collaborative efforts collaborative projects that will be out in 2023.
Nice.
There's going to be more solo projects. It's also going to be instrumental albums as well.
Oh, nice.
So I can't really get into anything in detail, but I'll say this, you'll hear a lot more. There'll be a lot more from me out there in 2023 than there has been in the last few years.
Okay. Nice. Well, I don't think anyone's mad at that.
Hopefully not. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be the change that I want to see in this game. You know what I mean?
There you go.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, Rod, man, thanks for being on the Rap Chat podcast, man.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, y'all. Rap Chat podcast. We will see you guys next episode. Peace.
Peace.